Imagine for a moment that your house has a sophisticated security system. You have heavy steel doors, reinforced windows, and a gate that only opens for family and friends. This system keeps the bad guys out while allowing the good things, like groceries and guests, to come inside. Now imagine that someone sabotages that system. They smash the windows. They break the locks on the doors. Suddenly, anyone and anything can walk right into your living room. Thieves, pests, garbage, it all comes flooding in. This is exactly what is happening inside your body right now if you have a condition known as intestinal permeability, or as it is more commonly known, leaky gut. You might be watching this because you feel tired all the time. Maybe you have brain fog that won't go away, or skin rashes like eczema and rosacea. Perhaps you have joint pain or anxiety, or you are struggling to lose weight despite dieting. You go to the doctor, and your blood tests come back normal. They tell you it is just stress or simply part of aging. But the root cause is often found in the single most important barrier in your body, your gut lining. This lining is your internal fortress. It is designed to be the gatekeeper between the outside world and your bloodstream. When it is healthy, it absorbs nutrients and blocks toxins. But when it is damaged, microscopic holes open up. Toxins, undigested food particles, and bacteria leak into your bloodstream, triggering massive systemic inflammation. The scary part is that you are likely eating the very tools that are smashing your windows. In this video, we are going to expose the 9 worst foods that actively destroy your gut lining. We are going deep into the science of how they break down your defenses, and more importantly, how you can stop the damage and rebuild your fortress. The science of the barrier. Before we identify the foods, we need to understand the mechanism of the crime. Your gut lining is a biological marvel. It covers a surface area roughly the size of a tennis court, yet it is incredibly fragile. It is only one single cell thick. Think about that. The only thing separating the toxic waste in your intestines from your sterile bloodstream is a barrier the width of a single hair. These cells are held together by structures called tight junctions. Think of these tight junctions as the shoelaces that tie the cells together to create a solid wall. When your gut is healthy, these shoelaces are tied tight. Nothing gets through unless the cell allows it. However, there is a protein in your body called zonulin. Zonulin is the signal that unties the shoelaces. When zonulin is released, the tight junctions open up, and the gap between the cells widens. This is the definition of leaky gut. When this happens, compounds specifically known as lipopolysaccharides, or LPS, escape from the gut into the blood. These are toxins from the cell walls of bacteria. Your immune system sees these toxins and immediately launches a full-scale attack. This war results in chronic inflammation that affects your brain, your skin, your joints, and your thyroid. So, the question is, what triggers the release of zonulin? What unties the shoelaces? The answer lies in 9 specific foods that are likely in your kitchen right now. Food number 1, the gluten trigger. The first and most notorious offender is gluten. Even if you do not have celiac disease, gluten can be a major problem for your gut barrier. Gluten contains a protein called gliadin. Research published by Dr. Alessio Fasano, a world-renowned gastroenterologist, has shown that when gliadin enters the gut, it triggers the release of zonulin in almost everyone, not just those with celiac disease. In a healthy person, the gut heals quickly. But if you are eating toast for breakfast, a sandwich for lunch, and pasta for dinner, you are triggering zonulin 3 times a day. You are keeping those gates permanently open. Modern wheat is not the same as the wheat our ancestors ate. It has been hybridized to contain significantly higher amounts of gluten and is often sprayed with herbicides that compound the damage. For many people, removing gluten is the single most effective step in closing the tight junctions and sealing the gut. Food number 2, industrial seed oils. The second destroyer is industrial seed oils. You know them as canola, soybean, corn, cottonseed, and sunflower oil. These oils are marketed as heart-healthy, but physiologically, they are inflammatory bombs. They are incredibly high in omega-6 fatty acids. While we need some omega-6, the modern diet provides an overwhelming amount compared to the anti-inflammatory omega-3s. Here is the problem. Your cell membranes, including the cells of your gut lining, are made of fat. If you constantly consume unstable, oxidized seed oils, your body incorporates these weak fats into the cell walls. This creates a gut lining that is structurally weak and prone to oxidative stress. Furthermore, the breakdown products of these oils trigger the release of inflammatory cytokines, which act like a wrecking ball against those delicate tight junctions. If you want a strong gut, you must trade these industrial oils for stable ancestral fats like olive oil, avocado oil, butter, or coconut oil. Food number 3. Refined sugar. The third culprit is refined sugar, and specifically high fructose corn syrup. You know sugar is bad for your waistline, but it is catastrophic for your gut lining because of what it feeds. Your gut is a garden. It contains trillions of bacteria. Some are beneficial, acting like the immune system's bodyguards. Others are opportunistic and pathogenic, like candida yeast and bad bacteria. Pathogenic bacteria and yeast love sugar. It is their primary fuel source. When you eat a diet high in sugar, you feed the enemy. These bad bacteria multiply rapidly, crowding out the good guys. This condition is called dysbiosis. As the bad bacteria grow, they produce toxic byproducts and gases that damage the intestinal wall. Candida, in particular, can change form from a harmless yeast into a fungal state that grows hyphae, which are long roots that literally poke holes in your intestinal lining in search of food. Sugar is not just empty calories, it is fertilizer for the weeds that destroy your garden. Food number 4. Artificial sweeteners. Many people swap sugar for zero-calorie alternatives, thinking they are doing the right thing. This brings us to food number 4. Artificial sweeteners like sucralose, aspartame, and saccharin. These chemicals might have 0 calories, but they have a massive impact on your microbiome. A study published in the journal Nature demonstrated that artificial sweeteners can induce glucose intolerance by altering the gut microbiota. Essentially, these chemicals are toxic to many of your beneficial bacteria. Specifically, they have been shown to reduce the population of a bacterium called Akkermansia. This is a crucial microbe because it is responsible for maintaining the mucus layer that coats and protects your gut lining. Think of this mucus layer as a force field that protects the cells from acid and bacteria. Artificial sweeteners strip away this force field, leaving your gut cells exposed and vulnerable to damage. If you need sweetness, stick to natural options like stevia or monk fruit, which appear to be neutral for the gut. Food number 5. The hidden emulsifiers. This next category is tricky because it hides in foods you think are healthy, like almond milk, protein shakes, and organic ice cream. Look at your labels for ingredients like polysorbate 80, carrageenan, and carboxymethyl cellulose. These are added to processed foods to improve texture and keep ingredients from separating. They make your almond milk creamy and smooth. But think about what an emulsifier does. It mixes oil and water. In your gut, these chemical detergents act like soap. They wash away the protective mucus layer of the gut lining, just like dish soap washes grease off a pan. Once that protective mucus is washed away, the bacteria in your gut come into direct contact with the intestinal cells. This triggers an immediate immune response and inflammation, leading directly to leaky gut. Carrageenan, in particular, is so effective at causing inflammation that scientists actually use it to induce intestinal inflammation in lab rats to test anti-inflammatory drugs. Check your labels and avoid these thickeners religiously. Food number 6. Alcohol. We cannot talk about gut damage without talking about alcohol. Alcohol is a solvent. Just as it dissolves grease on a counter, it dissolves the tissues of your body. When alcohol reaches the gut, it has a direct toxic effect on the epithelial cells. Chronic or heavy alcohol consumption strips away the physical structure of the gut lining. But it does something even worse. It increases the transport of those bacterial toxins, the LPS we talked about earlier, from the gut into the blood. This is called metabolic endotoxemia. It means your blood is literally being poisoned by the waste products of your gut bacteria. This is a major reason why people feel hungover, brain-fogged, and inflamed after drinking. It isn't just dehydration. It is a temporary breach of your biological security system. If you have leaky gut, alcohol is like pouring gasoline on the fire. Food number 7. Conventional dairy. Milk contains a protein called casein. However, due to a genetic mutation thousands of years ago, most cows in the West produce a specific type of protein called A1 casein. When you digest A1 casein, it breaks down into a peptide called beta-casomorphin 7. This peptide has been shown to slow down transit time in the gut and trigger inflammation in the intestinal lining. For many people, this inflammation opens the tight junctions. Interestingly, milk from goats, sheep, and older breeds of cows contains a 2-casein, which does not create this inflammatory peptide. Many people who think they are lactose intolerant are actually reacting to the A1 protein in modern cow's milk. If you struggle with gut issues, try switching to goat milk, sheep cheese, or A2 certified dairy to see if your symptoms vanish. Food number 8. Unprepared legumes. Food number 8 involves plants fighting back. We are talking about lectins, found in high concentrations in legumes, beans, and certain grains. Plants cannot run away from predators. Instead, they have chemical defenses to stop animals from eating them. Lectins are sticky proteins designed to attach to the lining of the predator's gut and cause distress. One specific lectin, found in kidney beans and wheat germ, acts as a master key that unlocks the tight junctions of your gut. This does not mean you can never eat beans. It means you must prepare them correctly. Our ancestors knew this. They soaked, sprouted, and pressure-cooked their beans and grains. This process breaks down the lectins and makes the food safe. But if you are eating undercooked beans or relying heavily on raw grain products, you are ingesting a steady stream of these gut-irritating proteins. Pressure cooking is your best defense here, as high heat and pressure destroy the lectins effectively. Food number 9. Chlorinated tap water. The final item on our list isn't a food, but you ingest it every single day. Food number 9 is chlorinated tap water. We add chlorine to our water supply for a very good reason: to kill bacteria. It prevents diseases like cholera and typhoid. It is a miracle of public health. However, chlorine is not smart. It cannot distinguish between the bad bacteria in the water pipes and the good bacteria in your gut microbiome. When you drink chlorinated tap water all day long, you are essentially taking a mild dose of antibiotics with every glass. Over time, this chronic exposure can disrupt the balance of your microbiome, reducing diversity and allowing resistant pathogenic bacteria to take over. This dysbiosis weakens the gut lining. The solution is simple. You do not need to drink expensive bottled water. A simple carbon block filter on your fridge or a pitcher filter is usually enough to remove the chlorine taste and chemicals before you drink it. It is a small change that protects your internal garden. The solution: heal and seal. Now that we have identified the 9 enemies smashing your windows, how do you fix the damage? How do you rebuild the fortress? You need to follow a protocol often called the 4 Rs: remove, replace, re-inoculate, and repair. First, you remove the triggers. Take a break from gluten, seed oils, alcohol, and the other foods we listed for at least 30 days. This gives your gut a chance to stop fighting and start healing. Second, you repair the lining. You need to provide the raw materials for new cells. The most powerful tool for this is bone broth. Bone broth is rich in collagen and glycine, which are the building blocks of the gut lining. It acts like spackle for the holes in your gut. You should also look into an amino acid called L-glutamine. This is the preferred fuel source for the cells of your gut lining. Supplementing with L-glutamine is like sending a delivery of bricks and mortar directly to the construction site. Finally, you re-inoculate the garden. Once the inflammation is down, bring in fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, and kefir. These provide the beneficial bacteria that maintain the mucus layer and keep the tight junctions sealed. Conclusion: leaky gut is not a life sentence. The cells of your intestinal lining replace themselves every few days. This means your gut is one of the most regenerative organs in your body. If you stop the assault, if you stop eating the foods that tear down the wall, repair happens naturally and rapidly. Imagine waking up without the brain fog. Imagine eating a meal without bloating. Imagine your skin clearing up and your energy returning. This is what happens when you secure the fortress. Start today. Pick the one food from this list that you consume the most, maybe it is the seed oils or the artificial sweeteners, and eliminate it for 1 week. See how you feel. What is the biggest gut health symptom you are dealing with right now? Is it bloating, fatigue, or skin issues? Let me know in the comments below, and I will reply with some specific tips to help you out. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more world-class health insights. Here is to your healing.